I remember when we first came into the Six Nations, and I said in my first bit of interview at press, I said, this is probably going to be the most competitive back row. I mean, Dan Lidditt's injured, the British Lion, you know, 3-test British Lion, not including Dan, and I said it's going to be the toughest competition we've ever had for back row places. And you know, you still got Ollie Cracknell, who's been one of the form sixes in Wales, and Thomas Young, who's been playing fantastic in the Premiership. And at the minute, people only focus on the four, but there's still a huge squad. And James King's been one of the Ospreys' best, most consistent performers for many seasons now. And it's great though, because you know, players say it, and people from outside probably don't think you mean it, but you really do need that competition to drive and motivate you every time you play, because you know, if you're less than 90%, then you're probably going to go to the bench or not get selected. So it's really good to keep you on your toes, and I think you're seeing that in the performances, and most of the back row boys are all playing some great rugby. That's because we've got other guys nipping on our heels, really. So it's great to try and bring the best out in you.
Are you quieter now that you're not Skip?
Yeah, I'm quiet anyway. You know, I'm always pretty quiet. I can quite easily go into my own little bubble, and be in my own little world. And I remember when I was coming through the Blues, they always take the mick at me, the senior players, saying that, you know, they always catch me daydreaming and things like that, you know, and off in sort of Sam land. But I still try and offer, you know, it was weird. I was looking at the programme before a game, and you sit down and change them, you have a little look, and in one of the matchday 23s, there was only 2 players who had more caps than me, and it made me think, flipping heck, like, it felt like yesterday I came through, and now there's only a handful of guys who've got more international caps. And you know,
and only one of your team has lost to Scotland before.
Yeah, I haven't lost yet.
Jones the only one.
Oh, really?
He's the only player who's lost.
How long ago was that?
10 years ago.
10 years.
Wales haven't lost against Scotland in 10 years.
Ah, right. I heard a reference to 2007 and a win. That's obviously what it was. Yeah. But yeah, I guess I still see myself as, I still have a lot to offer as in a leadership role for other players and stuff. But yeah, I guess I do it maybe quite a bit differently to your stereotypical captain, I guess.
Presumably, referring to that 10 years, this is a different Scotland setup to what you've seen, what you've prepared to face over the past few years. Different challenge. Would you say it's the best Scotland side you've seen for the last decade?
I definitely say it's going to be the toughest Scottish team I've played in my career. I definitely say that, and there's been many references to that throughout the training week. It's going to be a different animal that we play against, you know, this week that we have done in the past. And you know, Scotland have got they're looking a pretty complete side. You know, they've got a really good front five who offer. They got a good set piece. They've got great line out forwards. They're physical at the contact area, and they've got a back line to match all that as well. So it's definitely going to be the toughest Scottish team we played against, and it's going to be up the Murrayfield as well, which makes it tougher. So I imagine it's going to be the toughest Scottish fixture I've been involved in my career.
What's it like playing in Murrayfield compared to any other stadium?
I love it. When I was a kid watching, I remember I mentioned it a couple of times when I used to do after-match speeches up there when I was captain a few years ago, and I do genuinely mean it. You know, when you watch the Six Nations as a kid and you watch the teams run out in Murrayfield and you hear the bagpipes and the Scottish crowd, and then I remember when I had my first experience there, and it felt really surreal that I was in that fixture playing, and I don't know, it feels like a real great Six Nations fixture when you're up in Murrayfield playing in Scotland. You know, great historical ground and a lot of history there, and I've always loved playing up there.